Good morning and welcome to the channel. By the way, key tags available in the link down below. If you don't have one, pick one up now. Hope you guys are having a great day. Today is the day we take the McLaren 570S up to McLaren Philadelphia, and we traded in on some new McLaren because this one is about to get a lot of work done to make it even faster than it already is. Should be fun. Not only that, but this car is desperately overdue for its service, and it hasn't had an oil change in like 7,000 miles, which is really bad. Service exceeded by 2,108 miles. So we're gonna finally get that done too. I know, I'm a bad parent. Philly as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm calling.
Thank you. I think that is the fastest I've ever made it up here. We left the house, I mean, I don't remember exactly, but I can see when I'm editing the video because I took, you know, the video in the car as I was like, the car was running, I was ready to go. I literally left the garage as soon as I pressed stop on the record button. And it's now 11:06 and it's like 80 something miles. So I feel like I made insanely good time. Obviously, I was not speeding in any way, so I'm not sure why I made such a good time this time as opposed to other times, but I'm pretty hyped. Well, that's a perfect place for the cops to be camped out at. There you go, some good luck. And we are here, McLaren Philadelphia. There's Alex, and there's Shay's used R8, and I'm happy to be here. I freaking love this place. I always get super excited. It's like, it takes me back to when I'm a little kid and I see all these cool cars and it's like hard to believe I own one now. But every time I come here, I get super excited. I should probably pay attention to, you know, parking next to a $200,000 car. God, I freaking love it here. If you live in the area, you ever have a chance, you want to just stop by, they're very nice here. They, you know, don't care if people just come in, take pictures, whatever. It's such a cool place to visit. They got everything, not just McLarens if that's not your thing. They usually have a couple Lambos too. I don't see any Lambos here this time, but SLS, 458, you can see a couple different Ferrari, or that's a 488, I believe. And that's a 458 on the right. Pretty sure that's a 488 there in blue. This could be the loaner. Look at that. I think that's a Papaya Spark. God, that color is amazing. Quick little lineup up front. Now, this is what I'm talking about. These cars are getting really cheap. Look at this, 157. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people were like, oh, well, the ZR1 or like a C7 Corvette is more affordable, it's more obtainable, you know, it's more relatable than a McLaren, but that's only $2,000 more than my ZR1, and that's stickers, so you can get them down a little bit on this car. And this is a 2016 570S. I don't see the miles anywhere, but more than likely it's not too many miles. Doesn't say, does it? Oh yeah, there you go, 11,000 miles. 11,000 miles, you know, it hasn't been beaten. It's not like it's a rental car. Mine has 11K on it, but this is a year older than mine. And you know it drives well, you know it works. If it has miles on it, if it has at least some miles on it, you know that it's not a lemon. And I mean, that's a pretty affordable car. I mean, if you're talking about buying like an $80,000 Z06, more than likely you can probably afford this. You can probably squeeze that in. If you have good credit, you can get a good monthly rate on this. And I mean, these are very affordable cars. And trust me, for what you get, it's pretty insane. If you're looking at a Z06, a ZR1, if you're looking at, you know, a 911, if you're looking at obviously like an R8 or a Huracan, definitely check these out. We already know they're faster. They're more practical. They're definitely cheaper than those cars. If it really comes down to whether you like the looks or not, or if you like the brand or not, because on paper, it's really the better deal. That's just crazy to me. 157, you know, that, I mean, I'm guessing that's about what my car is going to sell for. Unfortunately, I paid about 25 grand more than that for mine, but they do lose value. But that's the advantage, you know, people buy them new, and then if you want to buy a used one, somebody else took that big hit. This one has the little carbon fiber badge, a little bit different than my car there. And I like the spec on that. I would do Alcantara on the interior, but I like the orange accents. Overall, yeah, very, very affordable car. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that these are in that price range. I mean, this is still a very new car. It's gonna have a warranty. You can even get, you know, qualified for the extended warranty, and 150 grand for what you're getting, I think is really pretty insane. Now, what do we got here?
We have a potentially sold Ventura Orange 570.
Okay, is that Papaya Spark out there? What is that?
Ventura Orange.
That's Ventura Orange too. Okay.
Papaya is much lighter.
Okay, I really like that color.
You have a better color.
You think I have a better color?
Oh yeah.
Really? All right.
Easy.
Well, I appreciate you being real nice.
Even
Can
if
always
I'm
count on my
lying.
boy Alex. Yeah, to be
Even
very
if I'm lying.
nice.
Carbon fiber roof.
Oh, that's right. So this is what the 600 LT will look like, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's freaking sick. 550. I thought it was a 575, but it's a 550 Maranello. Kind of cool, something different. And oh, it's a gated manual. Check that out. Pretty rare there for sure. Black 570 Spider. What's up, brother? Not much, man. I'm doing well.
Good to see you.
I'm doing well. Thing's pretty cool.
150.
This is one of the Can-Am cars.
Yep. 2016, 100 miles.
Is this the one that's at the track day?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. Cool. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely different. This one has a really interesting exhaust on it. Like gold 4 tips in the back. Didn't even notice this when I first walked in, but this is a really cool, well, really cool spec overall. And is this a used car? I think it is. Odometer 55 miles on it. Maybe not, maybe it's new. I'm not sure yet, but look at the color on this. It's like, it looks yellow, but it's got a really heavy flake to it, like Volcano. And it's kind of like a, I mean, it's gonna appear really yellow because I'm looking at the screen, but it's actually like kind of green. And it has all Alcantara interior with the same matching stitching. So that's a really neat spec on that car. Actually, I really like that. Elite Paint Sicilian Yellow is the color. I believe that's going to be my car out there, and I really like the color of that, actually, the blue. So this is going to be my car for a few days here, the 570 GT.
We can only play like a second of this.
This is a 570 GT, like I said. This was a local trade. Guy had it for a little over a year, traded it in for a 720, as many 570 owners do. And here it is. Really, I do really like the color. And we'll go into all the details later on, but there are a lot of them and a lot of differences between the GT and the S. Okay, boys, and entering the 570 GT. This is a little bit different. I mean, very familiar, obviously, like the same basic car, but it is different in quite a few ways, which we will talk about. By the way, boys, very big news. In this folder, I have everything that pertains to my 600 LT. The final price, the color, which I have not revealed yet, the real color, and every single spec, everything that I've done to it, including all the special MSO options. So this will be the content for a video at a later date when I want to release that info a little bit closer to the car actually getting here, but that is extremely exciting. And the news that I got today about the car and when it's gonna get here is like mind-blowing, and basically I gotta start saving my money now. I guess I'll just park with Philly as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling. So
I gotta admit, it doesn't feel as slow as I thought it was gonna feel. It's definitely like a lot slower than my car. The GT is a little bit, it's actually faster in the half mile, believe it or not, but it's like slightly slower acceleration, if that makes sense. But it builds speed a little bit better towards the top end. Oversteer you get when you're on throttle through a corner and then you let off. Like it's so much fun. The way they're designed in the aero, like when you're going around a corner, if you're into the throttle, it's pushing it so far outward, and the minute you let off, it snaps backwards, and it's just actually really fun how it behaves. It's like I can go around this corner at this speed, and I'm not pulling the wheel at all. I am not pulling the wheel at all. And that's how much of a difference it makes. Do it again here. It's like, it's pretty crazy. I love it though. It's so much fun to drive. It's great how you can control the car with that. And it's really fun on track. And these cars are a little bit more of a handful than their big brother, the 650 series cars, the Super Series cars like the 650S and even the 12C. A little bit more of a handful because they don't have the aero and they don't have the fully independent suspension, so it's more like a traditional car, and it bites you in the ass a little bit quicker when you're on track if you're applying too much gas out of a corner, and but it provides, like I said, for a really great experience on track. I loved tracking my 570, and this GT actually, believe it or not, feels, I'm sure it looks the same on camera, which it is. I mean, it's the same exact view out the front, but it actually feels a lot different than the 570 overall. It feels heavier, and it is by like 100 pounds, but not by that much, not by as much as it feels. It feels a little bit softer, but the aero, I guess, and the way the car is tuned, it feels just as fast as mine did stock. It really is it's a pretty different experience from a 570S, which I'm kind of surprised by, really. It is definitely muted from my car though, because my car is modified, so it's not really a fair fight. But even stock, like the 570, is a lot louder. But this does have a lot of sound deadening and everything to make it quieter deliberately. And you can see the back, it's so weird, like I look back and all I have is a tiny shelf and a window right there. And it's so weird looking back and seeing like a much more traditional kind of supercar back end where it has a sloped piece of glass, but you can't see the engine at all in this car. It's completely covered by this luggage space. So it's, my car, I wish you could pop the hood, or the, whatever you call it, the bonnet, I guess you would call it, because it's not a trunk and it's not really a hood either. I think it's still a hood, but I wish you could pop it, but you can't. You can't look at the engine directly. You can only look at it through the cover on a 570. This car, you can't see it at all, and there is no way to see the engine. And it must be a hell of a project to work on, because how do you even get to the engine bay when it's covered by, and it corners great, if it's covered by that leather? I don't get it. That being said, lucky me, now I have two blue cars in the garage. Literally one of my least favorite colors for cars, but this blue, I'm not a huge fan. This one's pretty cool though. It's kind of like a greenish blue. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera, but this is actually, it's a pretty cool color. So the GT, very interesting so far. I'm actually really excited to be able to drive it, and it's very different. You can see the back here. This is where the big difference really is, but it's got, you can see the engine a little bit. So you can see a tiny bit here, the exhaust and all. But yeah, that hatch covers almost all of it. But I did see a button in here, and it gets a lot, it definitely gets a lot hotter, which you would expect because it doesn't have the, I don't know, does the car have to be on? Hey, there it is. And it opens like really bizarre. Look at that. So that's how the back of a 570 GT opens up. Now, isn't that interesting? Which I guess makes sense because you can't really reach. If you're gonna put stuff in it, you can't reach in here. And this is where you can put in oil and coolant, not unlike my car, which has the little pop hatch in the back. And yeah, the back of this is really hot, like much hot. Now, of course, the engine is hot no matter what, but my car like doesn't really radiate heat too much. You can feel this thing's like this whole body's freaking hot. Although I have to give them credit. What is this? This is just a piece that sits here. That's interesting. I have to give them credit. This isn't really that hot though. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it's warm, but it would be. Also, the glass is like it's see-through. So it's a glass. Well, yeah, the glass. The roof is glass. You can see through it. But yeah, lots of interesting differences. And there you can see the carbon on this piece, the forged composite, just like on a Lamborghini Performante, you would see that. So there's a lot of like nifty little things I want to go through on this car, because this is the other McLaren. A lot of people don't know there is the 570S, there's the 570 GT, and then in the European market there's the 540C. Now the 540 is basically a tuned down GT. I think Seen Through Glass had, I believe he had one. Look at everything it comes with. And what are they selling this GT for? $179. Now this car only has 2,000 miles on it. There you go, for $179.9. And it's like I said, you know, these cars really are a great value. A lot of people think like, yes, it is a $200,000 car basically, but I mean, they're pretty affordable. What else do we got? We got hats now available. My new hats available, link down below for those, and the new sunglasses too. Each one comes in their own little container, little plastic bag as well, and they're the camo ones you guys have seen. 570, yes, I had a front piece, the clip broke, and this piece, the little clip, see, these are just like, it's not a big part of the bumper, it's its own little piece. That clip broke off, it was like flapping around, and I decided to get that fixed as well, as you saw maybe in the thumbnail. Anyway, so my 570 is getting oil change, everything, you know, everything looked at, fluids checked, all that good stuff. Turbos are going to go on, and I believe that's it. Definitely a lot of work and a much needed tune-up after 11,000 miles and almost a year. All right, guys, and now I want to finish up with something that I haven't done in a little while, and that is a Q&A. So what I do is I post up a picture on Instagram, and I tell people to ask their questions below, and then I go over, I pick a few, I try to get to as many as I can, but we do have over 500 in 51 minutes, so obviously I'm not going to get to them all. But nonetheless, here we go. Let's put a few minutes up on the clock. Got BZ Mero, when will the jorts come back? So my jean shorts, my grandpa outfit that I said I would wear when making videos of this car, that was before I knew how many videos I was going to make, and I really don't feel like dressing that way every single day, which I make videos with this just about every day. But I feel like that outfit will return at some point. Why are you doing all the mods to the McLaren when you are getting the 600LT? Well, I talked about this briefly in a previous upload, but basically everything I do to my 570, I can transfer those parts over to the 600. So for instance, the catless downpipes and the turbos should work just fine on the 600LT, and I will have quite possibly maybe the first modified 600LT out there. Would be pretty cool. What happened to the gray Ford Escape you had? I sold that to a buddy of mine, so the Escape is gone. I really tried to, you know, downsize my car collection recently, try to get rid of some clutter, so I got rid of that. I'm only down to 4 vehicles now, counting the Corrado, so really 3 vehicles that actually like drive. The Corrado's just kind of in storage. Will you keep the Grandpa C6 as your fun, cheap drag / street car, hoping it sticks around for a while? Yes, that is the point with this car. I bought something that was really cheap. I got this at auction for 14 grand. You know, a lot of people have C5s, it's been done. C6s are out there as well, but I wanted to get a C6 so it's at least a little bit different. So I thought about doing a C5, but so many people have a C5, including myself. I've already done a C5 build, but I haven't seen too many C6s, so I went with the C6, and I got this really cheap at auction, and I'm building it into my drag car. I won't keep it forever, but I'm definitely going to use it at some events and things like that, and when I do go to sell it, I'm going to take the engine out of it because I've spent a good amount of money on that engine, and I can use that in something different. I mean, who wouldn't want to see, like, if I ever get a Chevy truck project, I could put a twin turbo 427 in that, and that'd be pretty cool. Do you want to sell the motor out of Grandpa when the new engine gets put in? I was going to give it away, but ever since Steve's engine blew up as of yesterday evening, I decided I would give that engine to him since he's going to help me do the install on the new engine when it's here. Will you get the GT500 Mustang? I am strongly considering it. I think that'd be really cool. What ET are you looking to get out of Grandpa at the drag strip? I would like to just hit 8s. You know, if I can hit, it can be an 8.99 for all I care, but seeing an 8 of some kind would be neat in this car. How does McLaren feel about you modifying the car as far as warranty stuff? Luckily, I haven't had to know how they feel yet, but hopefully they take care of me and don't give me too much of a hassle. If I do grenade my engine though, that's my fault. If you could have any classic car regardless of price, which one are you taking? That would be a split window Stingray. How much power do you expect the McLaren to make after the turbo upgrade? By the way, love the new addition to the family. I appreciate that. The twin turbo unit in the McLaren, really it's limited by boost, but with the new turbo, so it's not like, you know, I can throw on these new turbos and make like 1,000 horsepower. It's never gonna make that, but it should make a lot, significantly more. So I'm hoping for, the car right now should make around 600 wheel. I'm hoping to make about 700 wheel and around 750-ish on race gas. So that would be pretty, I mean, the car is really, really fast now. I mean, 600 wheel might not sound like a lot, but it's, as everyone knows from the videos, I mean, it basically takes any, you know, Corvette, Camaro, Mustang, whatever, it takes about 900 horsepower to beat the McLaren now. So another 100 wheel, possibly another 150 if the car runs really well on race fuel. That'd be pretty freaking sweet. So hopefully around 700 wheel, that would be neat. Do you plan on doing turbos for the 570? Yes, obviously, we talked about that in today's upload. Least favorite car you own / have owned. The least favorite car. I've liked all my vehicles. You know, when I first started out, I had old Chevy trucks. I had an 89 was my first truck. Then I had a 92 for a while. Had a gas Chevy truck in 06 for a while. The Duramax. All my Corvettes. I would say my least favorite one would be the automatic Z06, the one with the camo wrap. It was a really cool wrap. The car was neat, but that car gave me so many problems. It was just kind of a headache, and I didn't really have a lot of fun with it. Like, I had a ton of fun with the C4 for $2,000. Love that car. The first manual Z06 was cool. The ZR1s were great, but I would say the second Z06 I just didn't have a lot of fun with it. It was in the shop so often that and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to sell, because I was just like, you know, fuck this car. I don't feel like dealing with it anymore. So that probably is even though it was very cool and the wrap was cool and people did like that car, that was honestly probably my least favorite car to actually own. Which was your favorite C7 build? Okay, the opposite. So that would be my first manual Z06. You know, that'd be my first one, would be my favorite one, I should say. That was a really fun car. You know, the thing made like 1,000 horsepower on the 300 shot with a manual transmission. It was very cool. I ended up selling it because, you know, the diff went on that. I didn't want to replace the diff, and it was a whole thing, and I was kind of tired of having the issue. There was a lot of impending issues with that car. A lot of people forget that car had 20,000 miles on it. So it was, you know, and those were really, really hard miles. Not that that's a lot for a forged you know, LT4 engine, but that car definitely was put through its paces and was going to have more issues over time, so I wanted to offload that. But that was probably my favorite C7 build for sure. And I'm going to end on this one here. How long did it take you to start making money on YouTube? I want to start my channel, but not sure how it all works. Well, a lot of people, you know, when I started making videos, I didn't even know you could make money on YouTube. I had no idea that was a thing. And today, of course, that's like common knowledge. So a lot of people see the bigger channels and they want to start. But my advice would be, you know, don't even worry about the money. It took me over a year to get started making videos and, you know, get to start making money. And even then, when I say making money, I was making like a couple $100 a month. So it was barely paying for like gas and shit. I was just doing it for fun. And, you know, back then it was a little bit harder. I only uploaded like 3 times a week, if that. And, you know, it was always filmed in the evening. And now, of course, I do it full time. I can film whatever I want, so it's really cool. But you gotta love what you're doing, and never chase, you know, especially in today's world and with YouTube's algorithm and everything. You know, it's like everybody's in this race to chase the views, you know, and YouTube wants you to upload every day, and, you know, wants you to do all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, you really just got to do what you love. You know, I've never once in my entire YouTube career, I've never once worried about the views. And don't get me wrong, it's, you know, I love if a video does well, especially, you know, I've had a couple million view videos and it's like, oh, that's really cool. But don't try to chase the views. You just got to do what you really like, and the views will either come or they won't. And the important thing is, as long as you're happy, and people most of the time, if you're happy doing what you like, people will catch on, and you'll be successful in that way. But I would never recommend trying to chase, the views. You're just going to drive yourself insane. And so many people do that. And like I've talked about, especially in today's YouTube, it's so hard because there's so many people doing it out there. So as long as you're happy making fun content, that's the most important thing. And I feel like the other stuff will come. So that's my honest advice. I wake up every day and I just do whatever fun shit I want to do that day. And I love to do different stuff with cars. And, you can't worry about what people are going to say or what people are going to think. You really got to do what you want to do and do what you believe is best. And that's the advice that I always give. I always give the same advice. People ask me, it doesn't matter the camera you use. I get that question all the time. What's your gear? It's just one GoPro and a basic editing software. None of the details like that really matter. The only thing that matters is, making fun content that you really enjoy. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this upload. If you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Take care. Have a great day.